So hello everybody, back again, continuing with the slides from chapter 13, and where we left off we were talking about operating leverage and the break-even point, the quantities where you break even, and over here basically you can clearly see at 500, anything below 500 you had a loss. And this was exactly break even, and if you sold one more item, you started making a profit. And you can clearly see as you sold more and more, your EBIT was increasing, right? So that was here's your operating costs, and here's your sales revenue, and here's your fixed operating costs, right? This is the variable component that gets added to the fixed costs. All right, so here is that previous graph in chart form, and look what you notice here. Look what you notice. If you basically, your sales are, if you sell 1,000 units, and you only sell 500, right? You go down, you're going down 50%. You're going from selling 1,000 to 500, and everyone should realize that's 50%, right? The interesting part, though, is because of leverage, your EBIT has gone down by 100%, right? We said at 500 you're breaking even, so you basically have a zero EBIT, but if you sell 1,000, you basically have an EBIT of 2,500. So by going down 50% in selling of units, you've gone down 100% in your EBIT. Likewise, if you go up by 50% from the 1,000 in selling units, you've gone up 100%, as you can see here, in EBIT. Right? And here's the equations that solve that. So here's your variable cost per unit, and here's your fixed operating costs. And so this just graphically shows you, analytically shows you the graph that we saw on the previous slide. All right, so we have an equation here that we all have to know, and this is called the degree of operating leverage, and it's your percentage change in EBIT over your percentage change in sales. And as long as the degree of operating leverage is greater than 1, there is operating leverage. Okay, so it's important for everyone to know that. So if we look at that chart there, here was a degree of operating leverage of 2. We went up by 100%, and basically we went 50%, right? And over here it's down by 100%, and a change in sales of 50%. So we're down, right? The degree of operating leverage is a 2 in either case, right? This one is positive, and this one, even though it's positive, it's a negative because we went down. So here's a way of showing the degree of operating leverage in a more direct way by just entering all the values we have from the little spreadsheet that they showed you. And if you take the quantities here, 1,000 and $10 and the variable cost and the fixed cost, you'll get that same number too. So now we have two equations of getting the degree of operating leverage, right, at this base sales level of 1,000. And here's that base sales level of 1,000, which is right over here, right? So you can clearly see we get the degree of operating leverage. And so we can get this now in two ways. Okay? So everyone should be aware of those two equations. They're very important. You've got that one there, and you've got that one there. So please make a note of those equations. All right, so here's another example of that. So we've got this degree of operating leverage, and even the dog likes this equation. All right, so as we increase the fixed costs, you can clearly see here that the degree of operating leverage begins to change, right? You notice that right there? It's greater than 100, and it's gone up to 2.2, and you can go over you can go over that. All right, so the next thing is financial leverage, And this is the use of fixed financial costs to magnify the effects of changes in earnings. So we're on the lowest section now, right? So let's look at that. So again, now here is the lowest section of the income statement. And we start out with EBIT. And we start putting variables in for everything right down to the earnings per share. You'll notice EBIT has changed by 40% here. EBIT has changed by plus 40% here. But look at your earnings per share. It's gone down by 100%. And here it's gone up by 100%. So this is the second thing. So now we've got the degree of financial leverage. And as you're probably aware, there's going to be an equation for this. And here it is. So here's the degree of financial leverage equation, which you should know, right? And we can get these percentage changes from our previous slide. And here they are solving that real simply. And if you have any questions about these equations, feel free to email me. And here's a personal finance example of that. You should go over that. And again, email me with questions. And they go through this. Basically, here's the current degree of financial leverage, and here's the proposed degree of financial leverage. Okay, so again, now here's the degree of financial leverage at base levels of EBIT, and you would put all your variables in here. Here's the preferred dividend, and here's your tax rate. So here's EBIT, and here's the interest on the debt, and you would pop stuff in there. And you would solve. Here's a simple solution for that, and you see you get 2.5. So that's good. Okay, so now your total leverage is your operating leverage plus your financial leverage. And look right here. Here's your degree of operating leverage. Here's your degree of financial leverage. And how do we get your total leverage? Look what they do. You can either multiply 1.2 times 5, right? Or you can divide 300 by 50, and you will get 6. So there's many ways. There's a couple ways to get your total leverage. So look, 5 times 1.2 is 6, and 300 divided by 50 is 6. So that's your total, right? Here's your operating leverage, and here's your financial leverage. Okay, so here it is as an equation. Again, you should know this equation. And here's the big equation for your degree of total leverage. So you would plug in all the variables here. You should make a sheet with all these equations for the final so you have them, right? So you can pop numbers in here just the way they do. I would go over these examples to make sure you understand them. And again, here's the equation. You take degree of operating leverage times the degree of financial leverage. And that'll give you your degree of total leverage. And here they do that right here. Okay, so I'll go over the degree of the types of capital structure in a little bit. I just wanted to finish up financial and operating leverage. So I'll make another video later on and continue with this. All right, have a good Saturday. You'll hear from me soon again.